Hey y'all, happy Mask Monday. Today I'm going to show you another quick tip. Okay, so I'm halfway through painting through this 3D mini mask color palette thing. For the video I'm assuming has already come out, or it'll come out later, I don't know. But I thought it would be a good time to quickly do just a little demo on casting masks. The process of making these masks and painting them and everything is the exact same as if it was a life-size mask. It's just small and miniature. So it's we have this little shrunken down bucket. This is plenty of latex to fill up one of these. It'll only take a little bit. I'm gonna fill this up halfway. And I don't spray it or wet my molds anymore. I like it just dry. It seems to work fine for me. But what we're gonna do is called dwelling. I'm slushing this latex all around, all over. I only filled it up halfway, but I didn't just fill it all the way up. I'm kind of rocking it back and forth, kind of get rid of some of those bubbles. And I'm gonna just get a nice layer of latex over the whole thing. So now I'm gonna fill it up almost all the way, but not quite all the way. I like to kind of tilt it and then beat some bubbles out of it, just burp it. Swirl it around this side, do the same thing. Do some more, make sure you get into the chin. And then now I'm gonna go ahead and I'll fill it up all the way. Beat it up again, getting more bubbles out. This part's really important. This is something that a mistake that beginners make a lot is they don't cover this up. The air is gonna cure a layer on top and you're gonna have a big thick piece of latex that you're just gonna waste and throw away. I'm only wasting a tiny bit of latex when I do that. What's good to do is press a piece of Saran Wrap down on the latex, and that's gonna create a nice seal. And then so now that's not gonna cure on top. So depending on the thickness of the mask that you want, that's how long you wanna leave it. At the very least, you should let it dwell for 15-20 minutes, that's gonna just, because the mold's so dry, it's gonna suck a decent amount of moisture, enough to give you a decent sized mask. But I'll usually do 2 hours because I like nice and thick masks. But I think a typical one would be 45 minutes to an hour. So now we're gonna dump all this latex out. A good practice is, if you want to or you can, to kind of spin it as you pour it out, but it's not really necessary. This next part is so important. You have to let it drain. And you can get those big thick paint sticks or just 2x4s. I usually just use 2x4s, but just set them like that. And then make sure that your gap is big enough. And you need to do this part. You have to let it drain for at least 10 minutes, but I would just go 15 minutes. It's still dripping. It's barely dripping, but it's still dripping. Gravity's gonna keep pulling it down. Basically, if you don't do this part and you set it down, if you have it laying like this or something, or even like this, it'll all collect here, but especially in a nose area or an ear or something like that, the latex will pool up. And so the latex will cure on the side that it's next to the plaster, because the plaster is sucking the moisture out, and then it'll cure on the side where it's touching the air, because the air sucks the moisture out. But the puddle, the little pool, is so big that it's a giant latex liquid bubble. It'll just stay liquid, so it'll literally never cure, and you'll pull it out and it'll be ruined, and you waste a whole bunch of latex. So you can see now the latex is a light yellow color. It's white in liquid form, but now it's an off-white, but close to a yellow. Once it's that all over the place, you're good. But just stick your finger down in these undercuts, under the chin and brows, just stuff like that. Make sure that everything's nice and solid, but it's tacky. And so what you want to do to remove that tack is to put either baby powder on it, or you can use the plaster dust. And the reason is, so whenever I pull the mask, it's gonna get all scrunched up, but it won't stick to itself on the inside. If you have a big tooth or an ear or a nose or something that gets pinched, the latex will really stick to itself, and you can really mess up the mask by doing that. I'll start by getting just this edge a little bit with the powder brush, because it already has a decent amount of stuff on it. So then you go and you don't mess anything up. But I'm just gonna kind of poof some stuff around and move it and just brush it. Then you can go back in with your finger and just grab some baby powder and just kind of move it around the mask, trying to find any sticky parts. So now we're gonna pull it out. You're gonna grab from the edges first, just get a good, you'll have little bits where it drained and all that, where it's still stuck. Just get it from the edges. And then you're gonna go in and you're gonna pull out like the face and like the ears, get all those out, and then everything else should come pretty quickly. But I'm just gonna reach in here and pop that, get past that brow, and then now I can just kind of get the rest of the head. And there it is. So you can see it has this like neck flange on it, and then I'll cut all that off and Dremel it, and then it'll be just the skull like that. Every pull of the mask will be like slightly smaller. You know, I've heard people say it's like 13%. You can see it's a big difference. All right, so yeah, so that's basically how you cast a mask. We went through the 3 basic steps and just kind of what goes into that. So first we dumped latex in here, swirled it all around, and then filled it up, and then beat the bubbles out of it, and then you cover it with some kind of plastic. You let it dwell for, you know, like 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, and then you dump it all out, put it on a couple pieces of wood, let it drain completely, and then we just pull it out, do a little baby powder, and just yank the thing out of there. Just be careful when you're yanking it out not to break any bits of the mold off. That's that, that's a quick tip. Happy Mask Monday. Like, share, subscribe, visit us at nightmaretoys.com, go to motionpictureeffects.com, follow @MayreMonsters, let them know if you like this video, let me know if you like this video, and I'll see you next week for another Mask Monday.